Hey, you know what time it is.
It's time for the Heart to Heart Journey to Unconditional Love podcast.
Yes, and I am your host, the late bloomer. This is my co-host, Harlan Brown. Say what's up to the audience, Harlan Brown.
What's up, everybody? I'm so happy to be here. I thank you, late bloomer, for allowing me to be on this journey. So, what we got going on today? What we gonna pop with
Man,
today?
you know we came this season locked and loaded, ready to go. You know, we just came off our quick hits, our first quick hit, so that was
Yes,
great. But we're ready to move on to that second phase. I think the audience is ready to move on that second phase. I think they got an understanding of the mind. It's the first phase, and they know exactly what to do, how to mind their business or mind your business. I love
exactly.
that terminology. I love that phrase, and I think the audience got it. You know, they got it down. So I think we're ready to move to that next phase.
Let's do it.
All right. So you know what that next phase is?
Come on, tell me about it. What are we gonna talk about?
We're gonna talk about the heart. And since the heart is the center of everything, the center of attention, center of attraction, center of everything, and without a heart, there is no relationship.
That's
Without a heart,
right.
there is no relationship at all. So it's gonna take a while for this series, though, Harlan Brown. So we running a marathon and instead of a sprint, because it's so much to unpack in the heart,
It is.
and we're gonna get it, and we're gonna get it right for ourselves, not only for ourselves, because I'm going down this journey too,
Yes.
with everybody, but for everybody else in the audience, hey, it's going to be great, this series, as far as the heart. And you know I gotta have something when we start this podcast. I gotta
What
have.
you got? What you got?
What you think I got this time?
What you got? Show me what you got. What you got?
Your heart's desires.
Your heart's desires. Now we done
Your heart's
mind your business,
desires.
and now your heart's desires.
Your
Let's
heart's
go.
desires, girl. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why I chose that is because, like I said, the desire of the heart can be. That's what this whole thing about relationships are. When people desire something and it comes from the heart. And you know, I gotta drop a scripture. You know, I gotta drop that scripture.
Let's hit the scripture.
Okay, so the scripture is Jeremiah 17:9. Tell the audience what that is, Harlan Brown, because it is so powerful.
Yeah, this is a powerful scripture. So Jeremiah 17:9 says, "The heart is deceitful above all things and beyond cure. How can we understand it? Deceitful above all things,
Let's drop that again. The heart is deceitful. Uh,
above all things, and
let's just let's
beyond
just start.
cure."
Let's just start right there. That's why this is so important, because the heart is so deceitful.
Yes,
Um, it can be deceptive. It's the basis of all things. Um, and because it's deceptive, a lot of times when we lead with our heart or follow our heart, it puts us down a path of trouble.
it
And
does.
we trying to avoid, y'all, the audience. Just understand, we're having a heart to heart. This is going to be a real heart to heart today, Harlan Brown,
Let's
because
do it. Yeah.
it can be so deceitful. Can you give me kind of an example of, have you ever had that where your heart was deceitful? It took you down a path that you knew you shouldn't have gone down, but you did it
Yes.
anyway?
Yes. 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 Um,
I'm sorry. I got you. You got your mind thinking like, oh, you like, ooh, man.
but I think that question is very, it's something that is very telling with everybody. We've all been down that path. We followed our hearts and we thought we were doing the right thing. I ended up following my heart and making a major decision about being in a relationship with somebody who I thought was in love with me, who put me on a pedestal, who made me his all in all. And I was feeding a place in my young life where I felt that I needed validation from somebody else to feel important, right? So I was still at that validation part of my life, not understanding that this relationship ended up into this controlling place that I could not figure out how in the world did I get here, because my heart is saying, oh, this is love, and my mind is saying, not so much, because this
Mhm.
is this is painful. Like this is not right. Like why are we doing this? And so yeah, that's what we're saying with the heart being deceitful, is that yeah, you crave this desire, but this was coming from a hurt place for me, right? So
Yeah.
this desire was from a hurt place for me, something that I had to heal from, something that it was a rejection, it was a not feeling important, it was all of the things that kind of tear you down as a person when you go through life experiences. And then you find somebody that feeds that, and you're just like, oh yeah, this is really love. He really love. This is what I'm talking about. And no, that's not
So
what I was
you in
talking
love.
about. I was in love.
Yeah, it's crazy. And for me, I can, and I'm being transparent. I can tell you the time again where the heart was being deceitful for me, where it told me, it was like, yo, you got a chance at talking to a married woman. You got a chance. Like, hey, go for it. And I'm sitting there, you like, nah, she married, and again, in your mind, and you're thinking like, yo, nah, I need to respect that man's marriage. I need to respect her marriage. But my heart was giving me just being deceitful, saying, come on, dude, you got this. Like, look at you, look at him. Like, she deserved better than that, and you can have it. And I'm gonna say it like this, that all transparency. It started out just flirting. It was cool. No harm, no foul. You know what I'm saying? I'm in a relationship. So, but I wasn't married, but I'm in a relationship. But it's like no harm, no foul. And your heart keeps telling you. And it keeps telling you, yeah, you can do it. You can do it. You can do it. And finally, it went from flirting to a little physicality. You know what I mean? Woo, man. Talk about deceitful.
Yeah.
Physicality to now she's being deceptive. She's being deceitful to her husband. I'm being deceitful. We're sneaking around. We're doing all that. And that's what happens when your heart your heart is deceitful. It allows you to do those things. So
Right.
for this podcast, we're going to give you some information, give you things to combat that. This is a heart to heart. So listen, this is real talk. It's a heart to
Right.
heart. And that's why we have these talks. But I want to keep going with that scripture, because that scripture says not only is it deceitful, it's deceitful above all things,
Right.
which means that even though I tried to stop, it took control of everything that I had. It took control of me, where keep going, keep pursuing. You know it's wrong. Keep pursuing, keep pursuing, keep pursuing. And that's what I did. And it's deceitful above all things. But that last part is the killer in Jeremiah 17:9. It says it's deceitful above all things, beyond cure. So once I went down that path, it was no stopping. It was a thing. But I'm gonna tell y'all today, we got something for you to help you with this, so that this doesn't happen to you. But this is why this podcast and this series about the heart is so impactful, and it's going to take us a while, because there's so much that comes when it comes to the heart. Come on, help me out here, Harlan Brown, because I'm like,
I feel like you're right where you need to be. Like the heart is, you make every major decision from your heart, right? Who you love, who you chase, what and how you respond to pain. All of that comes from the heart, right? We put our hearts in so many different things that we have to like guard our hearts. Sometimes we have to step back. We have to pause. We have to feel what we feel, but also make sure that we understand that feelings are not facts. Right.
yeah, and
So it's just moving forward and understanding that, yes, the heart is deceitful. It's beyond cure. We throw all logic out of the window when we're following our hearts. We don't think about any of
right,
the reality of what this is going to bring to your situation. We're in this euphoria of, this just feels good at this moment, and I'm just chasing that feel good moment over and over and over again, without having the logic of, this is not good for me, this is not what I need to be doing. I am not being logical at all, because I am not using my mind in this situation.
exactly.
I'm just following the heart. Now I'm
Right.
just going for it.
And it's being deceptive, it's being deceitful above all things, and you can't cure it.
Exactly.
It
I
allows
can't
you to
cure
keep
it.
going on and on and
We
on.
can't cure it because we walking around like, oh, that's okay. No, I can let that slide. I'm not.
Right.
Nobody. That's no big deal, because I'm chasing this. I'm chasing this feeling. I'm chasing this feel good. This is what I want, and
Right.
I'm not being logical. I'm not using my brain in
in
this
the right
whole
capacity.
scenario.
Because again, it makes you just throw all your morals and standards out of the window.
Yes,
It makes you pick wrong when you know right from wrong.
exactly.
And it's selfish. It makes you selfish.
Hmm.
And that's something that we cannot have on this path down this journey to unconditional love. We definitely can't have that. You can't be selfish, and this is what this does. you
Right.
know and then the other part, let's take the other part of that scripture, that last part. Not only is this deceitful above all things without a cure, who can understand it? Because like
Oh,
you say, you keep going, you could, and I'm like, I want to stop, can't, but you can't stop because and now you can't understand why you can't stop.
because you just wrapped up in all of the feelings. You wrapped up in the euphoria of it all. You wrapped up in the excitement, and we confuse excitement for passion and all of the things and compassion and all of the other things. But it's not that. It's your selfish longing and your wanting to have something that, in all actuality, isn't really good for you.
Yeah, but I'm gonna pull something else out on them. I got another scripture, and it's Psalms 37:4. Can you read that for the audience there, Mama
Sure.
Gemma?
Psalms 37:4 says, "Delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart."
Think about that. And he was playing with me. You said everybody say, my bishop always tell me, view God as a humorous God, because he will give you the desires of your heart. I knew it wasn't right. I knew it was against all morals and standards, and he gave me those desires. Put me in that point where not only did I bring shame to myself, I brought shame to my family. The other person involved brought shame to their name and their family. It was hurt. It was deceit. It was just a whole bunch of hate, anger,
Hmm.
that came out of that situation. Friends were lost.
Right.
Just trust was lost. Families were broken.
Hmm.
So the heart being deceitful is that destructive.
Right. It's
That's
very destructive.
that is
Very,
that
very
destructive.
destructive.
Because it destroyed everything that I had. It destroyed everything that she had, and an innocent bystander. It destroyed everything that he had.
Right.
And think about the kids. They had children. So it destroyed them too. Cause now they like, yo, they looking at their mother like, yo, you cheated? You cheated on dad?
Right.
Like, oh my God. Now your kids don't trust you. You know what I mean? And you put yourself in a dark place. I was in a dark place for a long time because again, I knew right from wrong. I knew it was against the morals and standards, but my heart was so deceitful that it was deceitful above all things, and I didn't have a cure for it.
Exactly. And
You know
I
what I'm
think
saying? And I couldn't understand it.
for
So
and that right there, what you said, I just wanted to interject in that about being in a dark place for a long time. I think when we go through situations like that, we we revert to the total opposite, right? I don't want no parts, not doing that, not getting myself involved in that. We have to find a happy medium with that, right? We have to find a place where we can find ourselves in it and also take accountability for what we did in it, and then find that happy medium where we can forgive ourselves, forgive the person, forgive the whole situation. Because I think when we get in those dark places, we sit there and just be like, for me, it was, I'm in a controlling relationship. Now I'm gonna be free, and then nobody's gonna hold me down no more. Nobody's gonna tell me anything. Nobody's going to. So we can't. I had to get out of that where I had to, like, trying to go into another relationship. First of all, getting over the fact that, oh, you don't, if you're not asking me where I'm going every 5 minutes, then maybe you don't care. And then getting to the point of, okay, you don't care, I don't care, right? I'm just doing me, you do you, we have a good time, and we'll come together when we come together. And that's not on a path to love either, right?
no.
I'm being deceived all around. That's what I'm saying. That's what the Bible is saying. Like, who can understand it? Should I go to the extreme, or like, how do I get to that happy medium? And it took me a long time to find that. So
Yeah,
I just
and
wanted to
this
say
is
that.
what we're gonna help the audience today. So one of the first things that you have to do is you have to know yourself. You have to know
Yeah.
yourself, and that's why when we did the mind, look in the mirror, really take a deep look at yourself. Be honest and truthful with yourself. Not only be truthful, be honest with
Yes.
yourself. Be truthful with yourself because
Be
now you know
transparent
who
with
you are.
yourself. Be
Absolutely.
transparent. Be 100% transparent. We can be honest with ourselves and be like, yeah, that hurt. But could we be transparent and say, this is why it hurt? Could we dig
Yeah,
even a little deeper to be totally transparent
yeah,
about the situation? Because that helps you. And that helps you more than you can imagine. Because it's easy to say, yeah, it was hurtful. I shouldn't have did it. But why did you do it? And why was it so hurtful?
yeah,
Why, what did pinpoint that hurt so you don't have to feel
yeah.
that again.
Yeah, and I know it's still some steps, and those who have been through the situation I've been through, be honest with yourself, be truthful with yourself, forgive yourself. And I know
Yes,
this sounds like a broken record, but this is going to go through all of them and all the steps. These are the steps that you have in order to get that journey to unconditional love. Be honest with yourself, be truthful with yourself, forgive yourself, but then know who you are so that this doesn't happen again. Know who you are so that you don't allow your heart to be deceitful because now you know who you are. You're going to put your heart in a box where you can control it. You can
yes,
control it. Now it's going to be deceitful regardless, but now you're going to not let it affect your knowing right from wrong. It's not going to affect your morals and standards because that is the key to that journey to unconditional love, knowing
absolutely.
who you are.
Yes.
You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
you're
So
absolutely right. Aligning your actions with what you truly believe, right? Stop clouding that feeling of whatever you're feeling to say, that doesn't matter. No, it absolutely does matter because when you come off of that high of feelings and all of these emotions, and you have to settle into the reality of life, and you understand that these things, these choices that I made wasn't the best choices for
yeah,
me,
yeah,
and it doesn't leave me in a happy place. It
yeah,
makes for me, it just made me feel so it made me feel a way that I really just didn't want to be bothered anymore. And that's not what God's purpose for me was. It was not for me to sit alone and just be like, I'm just not going to be bothered with anybody. That wasn't God's purpose.
yeah. And I know we got to go. It's been impactful. This is just the first part of the heart that we in this series that we have, and that's knowing yourself, getting there,
Mhm.
knowing yourself, and understanding. I wanted to bring out in this podcast today to know that. I know it feels like it's you have a control of it, but your heart is deceitful above all things beyond cure. That
Right.
we don't even understand it. And that's okay. But now that you know that, and now that you're reading the scripture, you know that you can fix yourself. You know that you can get above, beyond it. But when you do that, now you want to let it affect your morals and standards. You want to let it affect, doing right from wrong.
Right.
And there's other scripture in Psalms 37:4, knowing that, look, God is going to give you the desires of your heart. So be careful what you ask for. I know
Yes.
my mom used to tell that to me all the time. Look, you better be careful what you ask for because God
Right.
is going to give it to you. So, any last words before we move on? We're going to continue this series. I hope you guys got blessed with something today because I love it. I've been blessed as I was
Yeah.
preparing for it. And man, we had some takes. And I'm gonna be honest with you, we had some takes. We had to do this podcast 2 or 3 times because we was just getting so into it, getting so full. God was just working through it, and we had to do it again. And look, this is the result. We're going to continue this series, but give us some
Absolutely.
last words, Harlem Brown.
I say just pause when you get into this euphoria. Pause for a second and just feel what you feel, but make sure you realize that feelings are not facts, and also just evaluate what your true morals and your true beliefs are, and allow God to shape your heart. Because a lot of times let's get into normalizing praying about these relationships that we get into, because I think if you keep him in the center, you can actually have these conversations, have these thoughts, and be realistic with yourself and be transparent to the whole
Yeah.
process.
Look, I think we're gonna have a Your Heart's Desire too. Your Heart's Desire too. We have to, because there's so much
Yes.
to say, and just please, we love your support. Just continue to follow us. If you have any questions or thoughts, anything, there's our email. You can email us at Late Bloomer, that's BLOOMA 205 at gmail.com. We love to hear what you have to say, but this series is going to bless you. This series is going to be impactful. I love it already. The great start, Harlem Brown. And as I end our podcast, trying to do something will keep you in your place. But when you actually do something, your place has no limitations. I am Delay Bloomer. That is my co-host, Harlem Brown. And we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Yeah, let's do it.